Welcome to my YouTube channel. Grand Mansion. The grand halls of the Whitmore estate echoed with silence, except for the occasional soft footfall of staff moving through the expansive corridors. It was an estate that spoke of wealth, power, and an impeccable sense of order. Marble floors reflected the morning sun filtering through high windows, and elegant chandeliers hung from the ceiling, sparkling like frozen stars. Alexander Whitmore, a self-made billionaire known for his sharp business acumen and stern demeanor, sat in his study, immersed in financial reports. His neatly pressed suit and imposing presence exuded authority. Yet, there was a coldness about him, an emotional distance reinforced by years of chasing success and neglecting personal connections. His twin children, Leo and Lily, aged 8, lived in a wing of the mansion designed for comfort and safety. The twins were identical in appearance, with curious eyes and gentle smiles, but both were profoundly deaf since birth. Despite their quiet world, they radiated warmth and innocence. Scene 2. The Maid's Secret Joy. Sophia Martinez, the maid, was a woman in her late 20s. Her life had not been easy. Coming from a modest background, she carried herself with grace and resilience. She had been working at the Whitmore estate for 2 years, diligently managing the household and always maintaining professionalism. But beneath her disciplined exterior lay a passion for dance, a secret hobby that allowed her to momentarily escape the humdrum of daily chores. Sophia believed that dancing expressed emotions words often failed to convey. One afternoon, after finishing her tasks, Sophia found herself drawn to the playroom where Leo and Lily spent their time. The twins, though reserved, had an unspoken curiosity for Sophia. They admired the way her hands moved, as if casting silent spells in the air. Without thinking, Sophia began to dance softly to the tune of an old, forgotten melody playing in her head, a melody that seemed to reflect hope and yearning. Leo and Lily watched with wonder, their eyes lighting up as if they understood every movement. Scene 3. The Discovery. Unbeknownst to Sophia, Alexander had decided to check on his children that afternoon. Entering the playroom unexpectedly, his eyes fell upon a scene he never anticipated. A maid dancing gracefully with his twins, all smiles and shared joy. A mix of emotions surged through Alexander: confusion, anger, and an unfamiliar twinge of tenderness. He stood frozen at the doorway, observing how Leo and Lily mirrored Sophia's movements, their faces alight with happiness. "What is going on here?" His voice was cold and sharp, breaking the momentary harmony. Sophia froze mid-movement, her eyes wide with panic. She had never expected the master of the house to witness such a personal, unguarded moment. "Mr. Whitmore, I was just," Sophia stammered, trying to regain composure, but her words faltered under his intense gaze. The confrontation. Alexander stepped forward, his presence intimidating. His eyes, though stern, held an unmistakable curiosity. "These children are not to be entertained by staff without supervision," he said, voice heavy with authority. Leo and Lily exchanged glances, their expressions neutral but slightly anxious. Sophia lowered her head respectfully. "I didn't mean any harm, sir. I just wanted to bring some joy to the children. They rarely smile." Alexander remained silent for a moment, processing the scene. His mind, usually focused on profits and strategies, was now wrestling with something unfamiliar, concern for his children's happiness. "From now on, you will not interact with them like this," he commanded firmly. Sophia bowed, her heart heavy. "Yes, Mr. Whitmore." Scene 5. A silent plea. Later that evening, as the mansion settled into quietude, Sophia sat alone in the servants' quarters, her thoughts tangled in guilt and sadness. She felt a deep sense of injustice. Her only intention was to brighten the lives of Leo and Lily, who deserved more than the cold formality of their restricted world. Meanwhile, Alexander returned to his study, but his mind was far from financial reports. He couldn't shake the image of his children smiling, their eyes full of wonder. He found himself asking questions he hadn't allowed himself to ponder before. Were they truly happy living this isolated life? Did he, in his pursuit of success, neglect the most important thing, his children's well-being, the hidden bond? Scene 6. A father's reflection. Alexander sat in his study, staring blankly at the flickering fire. His mansion, a symbol of immense wealth, suddenly felt cold and empty. The image of Sophia dancing with Leo and Lily haunted him. For the first time in years, doubt crept into his mind. He had built his empire believing that success was all that mattered. Love, affection, emotions. were distractions that weakened resolve. But the sight of his twins smiling at Sophia's gentle movements stirred something long buried, a father's guilt. His thoughts wandered to the day his wife, Isabella, had left them. She had always dreamed of a happy family, of a life full of laughter and warmth. Alexander had convinced himself that providing financial security was enough. But was it? He resolved to observe his children more closely from now on. Scene 7. The innocent connection. The next morning, Sophia carefully avoided the playroom, fearing further confrontation. Yet Leo and Lily, with the silent understanding that only twins shared, kept glancing toward the door. Their faces held subtle traces of longing. Later, during mealtime, the twins sat quietly, their eyes not meeting Alexander's gaze. "Leo, Lily," Alexander said, his voice unusually soft, "how are you today?" The twins responded with shy smiles but no words. Their world was silent, but their expressions spoke volumes. Sophia, serving the meal, watched the scene unfold with sadness. She wished. An unexpected encounter. Later that afternoon, while Alexander was busy in his office, Sophia found herself drawn back toward the playroom. She couldn't resist the silent plea of the twins. She gently opened the door and found Leo and Lily sitting side by side, drawing with colorful crayons. "Hello, Leo." "Hello, Lily," she greeted softly, using simple sign language she had learned from books and online videos. Her hands moved gracefully as she signed, "Do you want to draw with me?" The twins' eyes lit up, and they responded with enthusiastic gestures. For the next hour, a quiet companionship blossomed. Sophia taught them new signs, showed them how to express emotions through drawing, and let them feel safe in her presence. The warmth in their eyes grew, and for the first time in a long while, laughter echoed in the otherwise silent mansion. But deep inside, Sophia knew this fragile bond was dangerous. If Alexander discovered it, there would be consequences. Scene 9. The growing suspicion. Unbeknownst to Sophia, Alexander's eyes watched from the study window. His mind was torn. He saw the happiness in his children's eyes, something he hadn't witnessed in years. Yet, he also knew the rules he had imposed. He frowned. Was this a betrayal of his authority, or was it a small rebellion against his own indifference? Determined to find answers, Alexander decided to investigate further. He approached the playroom slowly, making sure his presence was known but not alarming. "Sophia," he called. Sophia turned around, startled. Her hands froze mid-sign. Alexander stepped in, folding his arms. "What are you doing here?" I was just helping them express their feelings through drawing," Sophia explained carefully, still using sign language as she spoke softly. "It's important for them to communicate." Alexander observed Leo and Lily's joyful faces and felt his stern facade cracking. "Why haven't you told me about this?" he asked, trying to maintain control. "I didn't want to overstep, sir." Scene 10, Sophia replied humbly. Decision. "I only wanted them to be happy. They deserve it." That night, Alexander lay awake in his grand bedroom. The mansion seemed quieter than ever, yet his heart was restless. He thought of Sophia's kindness, of the way the twins smiled in her presence. For the first time, he admitted to himself that he had been wrong, to keep his children isolated, to treat affection as weakness. The next morning, he made a decision that would change everything. "Leo, Lily," he called gently during breakfast, "you may spend time with Sophia today. I want you to be happy." The twins' eyes widened with surprise and joy. They signed a simple thank you in unison, their faces radiant. Sophia, standing nearby, was stunned. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. "Thank you, Mr. Whitmore," she said, tears welling up in her eyes. A small smile crossed Alexander's lips. The blossoming trust. Scene 11. A new beginning. From that day forward, the atmosphere in the Whitmore mansion began to shift. The strict rules that once dictated silence between the maid and the children slowly dissolved under Alexander's reluctant but genuine allowance. Sophia spent more time in the playroom, teaching Leo and Lily how to express themselves through gestures, drawings, and even simple dance moves. The twins, though deaf, seemed to blossom under her gentle care. Their laughter became more frequent, their eyes brighter. Alexander observed this change with a mixture of pride and discomfort. Every smile the children shared with Sophia reminded him of the emotional distance he had kept for so long. One afternoon, as Sophia helped Leo build a tower of blocks, Alexander walked in quietly. His presence was no longer that of a harsh master, but of a father beginning to rediscover his role. "How high can you build it?" he asked softly. Leo looked up at him, grinning, and gestured proudly toward the almost complete structure. Alexander allowed himself a small smile. Scene 12. The growing suspicion of others. But not everyone in the estate was pleased. Margaret, the head housekeeper, had always viewed Sophia with suspicion. She saw the maid's growing closeness with the children as a breach of hierarchy. One evening, Margaret cornered Alexander in his study. "Sir, I must advise against allowing Sophia to be so involved with the children," Margaret warned sharply. "It's improper. We don't know what her true intentions are." Alexander sighed, running his hand through his hair. "Margaret, I appreciate your concern, but these children need affection, not strict order. Sophia has shown nothing but kindness." Margaret's eyes narrowed, but she did not press further. Still, a seed of doubt had been planted in Alexander's mind. Scene 13. A dark secret revealed. Weeks passed, and the bond between Sophia and the twins continued to grow. But one evening, an unexpected revelation shook the fragile trust. Alexander returned home earlier than usual and heard faint sobbing from the servants' quarters. He paused, unsure of what to do, before quietly approaching the door. Inside, he saw Sophia sitting on the floor, tears streaming down her face. Her hands trembled as she clutched a letter. "Why are you crying?" Alexander asked, his voice softer than ever. Sophia looked up, her eyes filled with pain. "It's my past, Mr. Whitmore," she began. "I never told you because I wanted to start fresh here, but I was once a professional dancer. I had big dreams, but life forced me into servitude after my family fell apart." She paused, struggling to keep her composure. "My husband left me, and I had nowhere to go. I took this job to survive. But every step I teach Leo and Lily, every smile I see, it's a reminder of what I lost." Alexander sat beside her in silence. Her vulnerability was disarming. "I didn't come here to deceive you," Sophia continued.